Hey everyone, today I wanted to talk about leveling up. So, when you level up in any area of your life, a job, a relationship, um, hobbies, leisure, anything, where you feel an expansion, where you've really changed your thinking in the way you traditionally have thought before, um, there's often a time where you hit a level where you're kind of I don't know what I'm doing with my hands. You hit a level where you're hitting a peak performance and you're finding yourself just in the zone and really in your fullest of expression of whatever it is. Then there comes to a period where it all seems to go away. And I call this contraction, um, cocooning. It's at a point where you've really broken through, and then you just seem to be like, what happened? I had all these ideas, I had all this stability, I had this balance, and now I can't seem to find my words, I can't seem to find what's going on. And what's actually happening in this stage is your highest peak that you hit last time has actually become your baseline foundation. So instead of it being this thing to ascend to, it's actually where you're at now. You've hit a new level. You've reached a new level. You can't go backwards in awareness. So what happens is now you're from this foundation in a point to reach the next peak, but it doesn't feel the same because you're actually embodying your highest level of expression, and it doesn't feel the same because now you have sights set on a whole new big thing that you didn't even realize existed, because we can't see the layer underneath the onion until we peel that one back, and then we're like, okay. So, to be very, as always, be very gentle during this process. You're in an amazing place. You can't see how far you've come because you're farther than you've ever been, and then the rational mind can think you're actually behind or you've lost something. But to know when that happens, get excited and realize you're a new being in a new form with a new level of awareness working itself towards a newer level of awareness, and your previous peak has now become your standard baseline. And it's confusing because you can feel a bit up and down with the mind. The mind is trying to adjust. It's throwing out a lot of signals, trying to ascertain and comprehend the situation, but it really doesn't have the tools to do this yet. So more with your heart and your higher self to know what you're in is an amazing place, and kind of have fun and float in the chaos and the insanity and the loss of self, because the self that you were losing wasn't serving you. You're actually connected at a deeper level, even though sometimes all the signs don't point to that. You're like, what is going on here? Like, I feel nutty. I feel out of my mind. And that's a very natural place from my experience. And I'm thinking quite a lot of people too, based on based on the conversations I've been having with some peers lately. So I wanted to put that out there of your new baseline was your old peak, and it doesn't feel like it's your peak anymore because it's no longer your peak. It's your baseline. And now a new peak will begin to unfold and begin to show itself as something to strive towards. It's given you a new target. Yes. So when you're in that storm, you're in the storm of the mind, and it's like, what are you doing? Like, what's going on? It's all good. You didn't lose anything. You gained a lot, and it's counterintuitive. And as you begin to go through this process quite a few times, you'll kind of start to see that it's a trend. It's how it works. And in a way, it can get more intense every time you go through it because it's always new. It's always an expansion. You're always pushing against the walls, and those walls are getting shifted over more and more as you're creating more space within you, and you're breaking out of the old walls, and that can be uncomfortable because it's shit is breaking down for the best, but nonetheless, you're still gonna feel shifting and uncertainty and unfamiliarity. And so know when you feel that, as much as possible, it's a great thing. And to give yourself a pat on the back. When the mind is coming up with crazy shit, like the ego, it's like trying to put you down. That's kind of, it's out of fear, because love never puts anything down. Love lifts us up, and we're beings of love, and when we're heart connected, that's all it is. So whenever it's fear, whenever it's not good enough, guilt, shame, regret, any of that shit, you know what it is immediately. Of course, easier said than done. From time to time we'll get pulled into it, sometimes for a couple days, especially after an expansion. And that can string us out even more, like, what the hell? So that's my offering for today, is to just understand your old peak is your new baseline, and you're always moving forward, even if it doesn't feel like it. It's just the way it goes. And you're always expanding in awareness and consciousness and learning, and learning how to be the best version of yourself without judging yourself. So that's what I wanted to share today. Have a beautiful day.